So Miguel and Lindy had the sex, they consummated their marriage, and Stacia is building a brand new house, and Nate is invited to move in with her. Let's talk about it. Before we begin, I ask that you subscribe to my channel, like this video, and add a little comment at the bottom. I'd like to know your opinion on this episode. So, we're going to discuss Married at First Sight, Season 15, Episode 6, Saved by the Mariachi. And Miguel was definitely saved. um, the men and women meet up. They have their own separate meetups, and they just start talking about how things are going in their relationships. The men take shots earlier that day. Alexis told Justin to have some drinks, and he's like, well, I'm not going to drink a lot. And she's trying to encourage him to, I guess, so they can have the sex. As they were drinking the shots, the men, Justin decides to throw it over his shoulder, I guess because he's really not a big drinker. So Justin starts talking about how they feel her and him and Alexis feel comfortable around one another. They're walking around naked, cuddling, all that stuff. And Nate on the side says that he thinks that Justin gets whipped really quick. And we know what he means by whipped. Justin says that Alexis accepts his sensitivity, but when you see Alexis talking to the ladies, she says it's a lot of work. Like, it's a lot of work for her to deal with his sensitivity. So I respect her for not, saying anything to him about that yet or how she truly feels. But she is pretty blunt. So you never know, in the future episodes, she may be pretty blunt about that. Morgan pretty much chimes in and says that Ben is sensitive like Justin and that things are going well with them. That they've been cuddling and more touching, but not the sex yet. Not that Ben hasn't tried. Lindy also says that things are going really well with her and Miguel, and she admits that they do what married people do, which to me says that they consummated their marriage. Now, Miguel says it was nice that he saw the moon, and he tells the guys that they consummated the marriage and that the moon and the stars and everything just came out. So he's happy about that. Now, Stacia brings up to Lindy that there seems to be some inconsistency here, and shared that Miguel been wanting to have sex, right? So how, at first Lindy's like she's going to take her time, and the next thing you know, they end up having sex. Which, side note, I knew that was going to happen when he gave her that massage. I know that little move, Miguel. So apparently it worked because they did consummate their marriage. Anywho, so Stacia is questioning Lindy and is like, hey, pretty much asking if it was forced. And she says, no, it wasn't forced. It was something I wanted to do, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. But that triggered Stacia because she said she's been in relationships where she felt like she had to have sex with a person, because she didn't want, I guess, to keep the relationship together. I think she had a fear of losing the person if she didn't have sex with them. Now, I feel that Stacia has a lot of open wounds and she needs to do some therapy. She says she's been in therapy, but I think she has a lot more work to do because a lot of things tend to trigger her, like about her father. She started crying. So there's work that needs to be done there with Stacia. Excuse me. So the guys were asking Nate how things were going with Stacia, and he said it's going slow. He wants to make sure they have the same goals and all that stuff before they have sex, which Miguel on the side said he feels like he's lying. The guys are basically not buying that. Let's see. And then Krysten says it's going. So they go to the ladies, talk to Krysten, and she lets them know that Mitch told her that he wasn't physically attracted to her. But then when they were having drinks and carrying on, he was getting frisky. She basically said that he pounced, he pounced like a tiger on her. And it's always with the drinks. Like, it seems like that's the only way, as of right now, that he feels attracted to her. But Krysten says, she pretty much stops him in his tracks, and that she is in control now and controlling the narrative and things of that nature. But she also wants the ladies not to vilify him and to continue to be Team Mitch, because that is her husband, and she pointed to a ring. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. I'm hoping that alcohol isn't the reason why Mitch is attracted to her, is when he's attracted to her, but that would be pretty sad if that's the case. Lindy says Miguel, she tells this to Stacia now, that Miguel questions Nate's authenticity. And Stacia says, yeah, she kind of has that in the back of her head. Which, okay. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So because Lindy brought up, this is related to Nate, but Lindy's like, look, I'm on my honeymoon. I'm not touching my phone. I'm not bringing it out. But we see every time we see Nate with his phone, just living his best life. We've been here, my wife this, my wife that. And that's true. It's like he's on this show to just show off. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just, he's not genuine to me at all. So let's start talking about the couples in depth. Stacia and Nate. So they have this nice little teepee picnic that Stacia set up, and she asked Nate if he likes things like this. He says yes, but we don't have to do nice things like this all the time. Nate just says as long as they stay in good communication. I still don't trust Nate. He just seems like a little scammer, a little day trading scammer. I don't trust him. I think he sees Stacia as a meal ticket. That is my opinion. Like, he hit the jackpot, which is something that I believe Lindy says later on at dinner that I'll touch upon. Apparently, Nate had told Stacia that he's not intimidated by her, and she's happy about that because she said men have been intimidated by her in the past. She brings up therapy to Nate and says, would you be opposed to therapy? And he's like, well, what do you mean? Like, if we have a problem, or just go to therapy just to go to therapy? And she's like, yes, because you don't have to go to therapy just because you have an issue. So apparently he does not understand that. And then he says he's open to it, but I don't know. I think he's just saying whatever he needs to say to solidify his relationship with Stacia, which is why I think he's not pressuring her to have sex and all that stuff, because he's trying to set everything up. I pray to God that he follows through on the posting up, like, for real. That's kind of, I hope they have some kind of clause for this show. You would think they would have something like that in the contract that they have to sign for the show. But anywho, I don't know. We don't know. If anybody know, let me know down in the comments. Let's see. Stacia hopes that she is getting the true Nate. Nate asks, what will happen when we move to real life, start moving and living together. And he wants to see them as a power couple. That's pretty much it for them until we get to the dinner. Lindy and Miguel. All right. So Lindy is in her feelings and says they're continuing to increase. She's glad that they can have fun and be goofy together. Lindy wants him to know things because they are different. And she does talk a lot. She does ask a lot of questions. And it's very good to do that, to get to know one another, like really, truly get to know one another. But I think it's just like a bit much. And I think Miguel is feeling like it's a bit much too. Yeah, and Lindy kind of says that Miguel is a little too analytical, and basically he has to loosen up. She says she feels pressure. Like she feels, and she admits that to him. she feels pressure that she may not be checking all the boxes that he has for a female, which is the wrong thing to do. You need to be your true, authentic self. And that is basically what Miguel told her. Miguel says he don't know when or if he's gonna really and truly fall in love with her. But hey, I got 8 weeks. I got 8 weeks. He counting on them 8 weeks, honey. He said, I got 8 weeks. And he has an out. And I'm like, dude, you gotta give it more than 8 weeks. I believe Lindy even said that. Like, he has that whole 8 weeks thing on his mind, like this is a trial period or something. So I hope child, I hope they get past the 8 weeks. That's kind of effed up though, like for real. It's my dog Hershey. Alexis and Justin. All right, so they're in a catamaran. They're having a good time. They talk about how things will be in real life because apparently he works from home. They both have dogs, and she's like, he's gonna be a dog dad and all this other stuff. Then she asks him, if you're gonna be like a dog dad, at home dog dad, and I'll make more money than you, is that gonna affect your ego? He says, no, it's not gonna affect his ego because all the money's going into the same account. And then I was questioning, I think Alexis was questioning, like, really though? Is it really gonna go all in the same account? Like, we haven't even discussed finances. Alexis, so then a little incident happened where the wind blows and a catamaran turns, falls over to the side, and Justin saves the day for Alexa because he didn't allow that thing to hit her. It was just a little something. Now Morgan and Ben, there was a lot going on with Morgan and Ben. They have been touchy and feely. Apparently, they had a conversation about Morgan and her student loans and her still going to school. And Ben felt like she lied about being a nurse, but apparently she is a nurse. She just has one more class to take, but she has been working at a nurse's capacity, and she's taken this class, I think, to get a raise. I think that's what she said. But Ben didn't talk to her about that. No, he had to go to Justin and say she lied about being a nurse. Now, totally wrong. She feels hurt because she's like, yo, that was between us and our trust has been broken. Ben asked, what can he do to make it better and earn her trust? And it's just going to take some time. Like, you know, he had this idea in his mind that because he's a family person, that he thinks everybody's family is like that. And he told the experts that he wanted someone that had a good relationship with their family and financially stable. So he's judging Morgan a bit because of the fact that she has these student loans. And he feels like she lied about her degree, which is totally wrong. Let's see what else happened between them. Yeah, so that's basically it. They just need to work through their issues. Moving on to who's left? Who is left? That's my dog Hershey. Yeah, Krysten and Mitch. Okay. So Krysten meets up with Alexis and says that she values her opinion, that they're kind of the same strong-minded women. And basically she wants her to be her sounding board. She tells Alexis that, which we all know, Mitch has not been in a committed relationship in a while. And really 3 years, I think that was the maximum that he's been in a committed relationship. And Alexis is like, with him, you're going to have to accept the small wins. Like, you can't expect him to change like overnight. Let's see. Alexis says that, so Krysten's like, she's kind of on eggshells, and he says one thing and his actions show the other, that he talks about the future, but she feels like she's walking on eggshells. and kind of wanted to know what her next move should be, is what the impression I got. And Alexis is like, you need to answer that question for yourself, which is true. So it seems like, I don't know, she's really trying to give it a go, Krysten, that is. And I'm not sure if Mitch is on the same page yet. He's getting closer, but he's not there yet. And then we get to the couples dinner. Morgan and Ben talk about how they were hit with a disagreement. They really didn't go into detail about it. They talk about their roadblocks, but they're moving forward, which is good. Lindy decides to bring up to the whole group about Miguel and this 8 weeks thing. Okay. She says she needs more than 8 weeks. All the women are looking at him like, say what now? Like, you stuck on this 8 weeks. Stacia talks about how Nate is concerned about her being in work mode once they start real life together. And they let everyone know that that Nate will be moving into the new house that he was being built. Man, everybody was like, yo, you you hit the jackpot, bruh. And Mitch was like, so your wife is building you a house. Now, in my experience, a lot of men would be leery or maybe bring up concerns about moving into a woman's house. Yes, they may do it, but at least in my experience, a man, not saying that Mitch isn't, not Mitch, Nate isn't, although he's very immature, would bring up, I don't know if I want to move into your house because it's your house. He didn't even say that. He's like, yo, okay. Like, I guess he's tired of living with roommates, because I think he was living with roommates. That's a sticky situation. And then Krysten tells Mitch in front of everyone that she looks forward for them to sleeping together and waking up with one another. And he says that he's attracted to someone who's bold and says it like it is and has a lot of energy. And he hopes that they make time for one another when they're in real life, which is basically them living together. Let's see. So Morgan says, it basically, in a nutshell, Morgan wants a roommate because she's like, when she gets home, she don't want to have to take care of nobody. She don't need to be taken. She don't want to check in on anybody. And it's like, everyone was like, well, what about Ben? He has needs too. So I don't know if she even knows what the concept of living with someone or being in a relationship with someone or being married, because you have to take that other person's feelings and what they need into account. So that is definitely going to be a point of contention if she really and truly feels the way that she feels. Yeah. Even Ben brought up like, so where does that leave me? And on the side, Alexis and Justin was just saying little stuff like, wow, is she really saying this? And why does she even get married? And all this other stuff. Let's see. Oh, Alexis tells Morgan basically that you need to open up because all we heard was me. Let's see. Yeah. So Alexis and Justin starts talking about, when they get home and start living together. And Alexis is like, well, I don't know how it's going to be when I come home stressed. Is he going to help me de-stress? He's going to take care of the dogs. And she starts talking about all the things that Justin is going to do. And everyone else brings up, well, what about what you're going to do for him? And she's like, no, boo-boo, I take care of my man. And my man is very happy. And then she says something about lingerie and all this other stuff. But she basically tells everybody to mind your business because my man is taken care of. And then Justin says he will be there for her and he supports her. So Miguel also brought up, well, we hear a lot about how, he's doing for you, but how are you doing for him? But she answered that question. And what was interesting is Alexis, under her breath, said, I love this man. So everyone was like, what was that? What was that? Especially Justin. What? She said she loved him. And I like to see that transition in her, that she's really starting to not be so okay, running away from the feels. I guess if you could put it that way, running away from being vulnerable. It looks like she's opening up. So that's good to see. So Miguel brings up that he's unsure if he has 8 more weeks in him. I think more than 8 weeks in him. And he says that he has an out. Now he says this in front of everyone. Lindy, all of a sudden, she had an issue with the 8 weeks, right, when they were together by themselves. But then she's like, oh no, I validate. This is all, what he says. It's all of a sudden, and she says she felt the same way. And Alexis calls out Lindy and reminds her that earlier today you told us that it bothered you that he was so obsessed with this 8-week thing. And yeah, it bothered you. Then Lindy says she wants to respect his feelings and at least she knows where he's coming from. So then Justin and Alexis start talking about, just on the side, about how she's not being her true self and she does everything to please him. And it does seem like she's doing everything to please him because she wants this to work so bad. And that could be a big problem, especially if you're not being your true self, girl. If there's something that's bothering you and you don't like this 8 weeks thing, you need to be true to yourself and talk about it. So then Stacia, which I was like, she came through because she was saying basically about to say the same things I was thinking. She's like, so where is I don't even know much about you. So what is your mindset about marriage? I really don't know your story. And when I heard you talking, I was like, what the, WTF? And how long have you been single? But then the mariachi starts coming and playing, and he was saved by the mariachis for sure. And he even says saved by the bell. But then Lindy starts saying that under her breath while everyone was enjoying the mariachi band, we're the real ones. We were taking it slow in our timing and we have good conversation, and said that she's not worried, baby. I got you. But you had some issues with what he said. I'm like, girl, yeah, she's going to be too much of a pleaser. It doesn't seem like she's going to be challenging Miguel that much. Let's see. So pretty much that was it. I mean, they all had their little conversations after dinner, getting ready because that was the last night for their honeymoon and getting ready to leave and talk about how they're excited to live together and all that good stuff. So that's pretty much it. It was a pretty good episode. These 2 hours, these 2 hours be killing me though. But hey, that's married at first sight, right? So let me know what you think in the comments. Please like my video, subscribe to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. All you gotta do is just hit that little red button to subscribe and that little thumbs up to like my video. But that's it. Until next time, peace.